In this section, we're going to talk about evaluating expressions. An expression is sometimes used in place of just a regular problem with numbers supplied when we want to use variables. Variables are letters that are used in place of numbers. And usually when we do that, we're doing that because we might want to perform the same operations over and over again, but with different numbers. And the variables stand in place of those numbers that can change. When we look to evaluate an expression, we'll be given an expression like negative 2ab, and then we'll be told what the variables stand for. In this case, we want a to stand for 6, and b stands for negative 3. If we write that out, notice the 2 is sitting right next to the a, is sitting right next to the b. We want to preserve those operations, and being bumped up next to each other means times. So we want to be doing negative 2 times 6 times negative 3. Now I can do that by hand, or again, I would expect I would use technology to go ahead and type that in and get the answer. You may want to try both to make sure you're using both technology correctly and learning a little bit about the order of operations. So this should turn out to be positive 36. On number 2, I'm told that a is 7 and a is supposed to get multiplied times 4. Preserve the operation by putting the variable in parentheses. Type that into the calculator, and this should be 25. If x is negative 2, I'm going to take out the x, substitute negative 2, and perform the order of operations by hand or on the calculator. And this is 10. Now I want to be careful when I have a fraction. On top, I'll have 8 plus 7. On the bottom, I'll have 8 minus 3. Now, I can work the top and I can work the bottom separately. Or, if I want to type it in to my calculator, I want to make sure that I type in my fraction so that the numerator is grouped with the numerator, the denominator is grouped with the denominator. And if I've typed this in correctly, if I've typed this into the calculator correctly, my answer should be 3. Let's do it one more time. Now, when your variable has a negative, you might have to add another set of parentheses to keep two signs of operation from being next to each other. If a is 2, and I want to say plus negative 11, I want to put in a set of parentheses there. On the bottom, I would want to do 4 minus negative 5. I need an extra set of parentheses there. Now, if I want to type the whole thing into the calculator, I'm also going to need a set of parentheses to encompass the entire numerator, and another set to encompass the entire denominator. Every time you open a set of parentheses, you want to make sure you close them. If you don't, your calculator is likely to misunderstand what you're trying to tell it for the order of operations. If you've typed this in correctly, you should get -1 for an answer. Another time we might use an expression is if we have one expression and we want to do it over and over and over again for different values. In this case, it might be easier to express our answers in a table. I have one expression, -6 minus 3, and I want to compute it for all these values in the table. I have to do that individually, and that means I'll do this over and over again on my calculator. If I want to plug in -2 for x, I'll type in -6 times -2 minus 3 and get that answer. When I do, I'll place the answer here in the table. Now I'm not going to change the expression, but this time I want to work it, instead of -2, I want to put -1 in that place. Compute. We'll do it again for an x of 0. For an x of +1. And for an x of +2. Here's one more for you to practice. I would suggest that you pause this recording, do this on your own, and then check your answer. Two times -2 plus 5 is 1. 2 times -1 plus 5 is 3. 2 times 0 plus 5 is 5. 2 times 1 plus 5 is 7. And 2 times 2 plus 5 is 9.